All right, welcome in everyone. It is a beautiful day in Eco. And if this is your first time in here, I am Boss Lady B. I am your resident expert on eco farming and plants and landscape design. I am a variety streamer who does tutorials in eco because this game is a passion of mine, and I want to try and help all of you get over some of the sort of sticking points or explain things a little bit so that it makes the game fun and easy for you as the end user of this. So, we are going to be doing something a little bit different today. We are going to be looking around and planning out a sort of ideal perfect farm. So, this is my creative world. This is my server that I am using just for me. It is only sort of as a test case. This isn't for anybody else to be using, but I picked out this location because it has a lot of different wonderful biomes right nearby each other, including a big flat area here for farm fields. I'm so excited. So what I did today is I recorded about 2 hours of content, but then going through it, I realized that you don't want to spend 2 hours just watching me cut down trees and shovel dirt and build a basic house, do you? No, probably not. Oh, look at those cute little foxes. Oh my goodness, they're adorable. So, I scrapped that and I've decided to start over with a whole different perspective. We are going to have two different points of view. You're going to have sort of my first person point of view as I explain some things, and then I am just going to get to work and you'll be able to see the time lapse of me sort of doing getting it going. So, that's where we're at. We are going to be at the moment working on laying out where the fields go. And but first off, let me give you a tour of basic girl house. So I did all of this without creative. I am only spawning in things that would be naturally sort of sourced from someone else on a server like this. And so I'm basically only giving myself things that I can't make myself, such as things from an engineer, things from a mason, or other things like that. And I'm trying to stick as closely as possible to the tier of sort of production I'm at. So I built this big old room, and it's mostly for my tables right now. So we've got the research table, we've got the tool bench, we've got the workbench, and we finally got the farmer's table. I'm so excited. Okay. So I researched farming earlier today, which was great. And then I built the two rooms that I'm able to make the furnishings from to start out. So these are the two furnishings I can make. And then I sort of traded for a wash basin. That way, as you can see below, my house bonus is somewhat balanced right now. It's not fantastic, it's not crazy, but I did build the house a little bit higher because I sort of like having tall roof, but also it gives us the ability to build up from there. So I'm really hoping that it gives me sort of the flexibility um to put a lot more items in here, like maybe a mill, maybe an industrial mill at some point, maybe two farming tables, because the farming tables take so long to process things. And I'm not able yet to make the kitchen salt basket, but once I'm high enough level in farming, I'll do that. I did pick up gathering, so we have the gathering skill, which is the one that I would suggest for everybody to pick up as their first skill if you're going down this route, so that as you are picking different things, you start to at least get credit for that. So anyway, I am going to be running around and sort of figuring out where to plot the different areas. This is going to be sort of nerdy and very sort of technical. So I will just put this on time lapse and you can see how this looks from a different perspective. All right, so welcome back in. I know for you, probably no time has gone by, but for me, let's just say learning how to work on this from multiple points of view is really hard. So anyway, I'm going to go grab my creative tools now and we will get started with the time lapse for real this time. For real, for real. And so I'm just going to be laying out all the various different fields and trying to sort of figure out maybe some farm roads and other stuff like that. But we're going to start out with the easy area, which is right here near the house. We're going to sort of, we're going to sort of lay out different sort of roads and paths and try and figure out how these different fields are going to be doing that. I'm going to be using the map and looking at that a bunch, and I'll sort of toggle back over once we're at a point where we need. All right, so let's get started laying things out. So you can see off to the left how I sort of put the outline of the path so that you can sort of see that. And then over here in this zone, we are doing the cornfield and getting that set up. This was sort of a tricky spot because of the hillside. It will have to get leveled out. I'm definitely relying a lot on the land claim tool to get the edge of the zone. I'm making sure that I'm placing the fences on the outside so that on the inside we have the 5x5 patches. That is the way that the fertilizer in the game sort of works. And now we are headed into the beet patch. So we're getting the beet patch laid out. From doing a lot of the cooking in the game, I know how much you have to deal with beets and how important they are. So we're making sure that is. And then here's our sky high cremini field. Woohoo! Little buffalo helping us out with this one. But this is going to be where our mushrooms are up here, which will be fantastic. And then we are going to move back down here. We're laying out the edge of the sunflower field, which is going to be right next to the wheat. And I'm doing the test patches to remind myself what goes where and which field is what. We'll get into a little bit more of the specifics shortly, but this is just showing you sort of me doing the process of laying things out and how much time it takes to sort of get through the thinking process. Even though it's creative mode, it's still quite time consuming and takes a lot of brain power to get this piece done. So I'm just laying out the test patch of beans, got the corn, got the beets, and I expanded this patch a little bit. I realized it was a little too small, so I wanted to make sure it was the right size. And then over here is going to be our camas field, which this is going to be really, really pretty up here. It's all going to be that blue camas flowers. Put a little test batch in. And then we're going to do our rice right next door. And I was going to put it right here, but I realized after I looked at the map that the better zone for it was a little further off that direction. And so that's where we're going to put our rice, which is definitely going to need a decent amount of terraforming there. So yeah, that's the most, like, I laid out, like, what was it, half a dozen different crops, some of the bigger crops right there. So that at least gets us to, have some of the basic crops laid out, and I'll explain more in detail now. Let's go over what I have been up to and some of the things that I've been setting up, just so that you can get a sense of all of this. All right, so first off, I had to figure out the best possible crops for each of these areas, and it's not perfect in that the soil right now isn't exactly what they want. But just looking at what's growing here already, I sort of could put together some ideas. So the flax field is going to be over to the left right here. You can see it is glowing perfectly white. This is actually what we would want for every single crop, but that's just not going to be the case. Then next to it, I decided to do the wheat because as you can see, there's not really anywhere nearby other than really far away. So we're going to have to heavily amend the soil here for the beet or for the wheat. And the same thing with the sunflowers. There's just really nowhere that sunflowers are super happy. We might do a separate field over here at some point, but so for now, I'm just going to see if I can amend the soil in this spot for sunflowers. It's not, you know, fantastic, so it'll be sunflowers near the fence. But look, there's a bunch of sunflowers sort of growing around over here. So I'm thinking they might grow okay in here. So this will be all sunflowers. This will be all wheat. This will be all flax. So just to help myself remember, I put down some seeds. And you can see, like, look, there's flax and sunflowers growing right next to each other here. So theoretically, they should grow just fine. Next, let's head up the hill here. Next time we'll build roads and do some terraforming and all that. But this is going to be our cremini mushrooms. So as you can see, we have a lot of different places that we could put the creminis, but this seems like a pretty decent level spot up here. Again, we'll build a road up to the top. And then down here, I decided to do the beets. They're not super happy here, but they're not completely unhappy. We could also do them up here, but I think I'm going to do the rice up there. So we'll see if we can get the beets to be happy down here. And then across the way, right in this field, we are doing corn. I feel like these, you know, who knows about the sizes of the field. We'll have to kind of look at it and see if we're happy with it. So so this field on this side is going to be all corn in this area, which will be all nice and leveled out. And then we're going to do beans in this area, which will be all nice and leveled out. Then going back up top, we're going to go over here. We're going to have a big field of camas. This is going to be all camas. It's going to be really pretty up here. And then we have a big area that I'm going to need to level out. That's going to be all rice in here. So those are sort of our fields so far. I'd like to find a spot to put the ferns. They're not really that happy. So I'd like to find a spot for the ferns, the huckleberries, which will be over there. So probably we'll go up here. So it'll be ferns, huckleberries. Let's see where we're going to put our papaya. Okay, so our papaya is probably going to end up in here, in this zone somewhere. And then pineapples also somewhere in that zone. Let's go take a look. So we'll have them somewhere sort of right in, maybe in the flat area down here. Yeah, something like that. Wonder if, wait, where's my scythe? I don't have a scythe on me. Give stone scythe. No, give stone sickle. There we go. Do these give us? No, it just gives us fiber. Yeah. I was hoping that we had a way of getting fern stuff without having to go over into the other zone, but that's not the case. Oh well, that's how it goes. And then we're also going to need to plant taro in here. So the jungle ones are going to be pretty easy. we'll just lay those out as is. And if we do need to make like a whole secondary farm location over here, that's fine. And then we're also going to need to do maybe the prickly pears in there. The agave. I'm hoping some of this is just soil. We can hopefully get a soil reading and amend the soil, but yeah. Anyway, so that is more than enough for this recording. It has been quite a lot of fun trying to figure out the time lapse. I think it'll be much more easy to use when it is, us terraforming or doing things that are stagnant. So until then, we're going to call it an evening. Eat a little bit of grilled pineapple, maybe some fish. Let's get some fish, and yeah, we'll head out of here and catch you next time on Boss's Farm.